Get ready for a major leap in space exploration. United Launch Alliance, ULA, is on the brink of launching its Vulcan rocket on a groundbreaking national security mission, marking a pivotal moment for the company and the industry. But here's where it gets exciting. This isn't just any launch. It's the first post-certification flight for the Vulcan, and it's tackling one of the toughest missions imaginable. Let's dive into what makes this event so significant and why it's sparking conversations across the aerospace community. 1. A bold first mission for Vulcan. Standing at an impressive 202 feet, 61 meters, the Vulcan rocket is set to take flight as early as Tuesday, August 12th, carrying a pair of missions for the US Space Force's National Security Space Launch, NSSL program. This isn't your typical launch. It's a direct injection into geosynchronous orbit, GSO, a challenging task that requires precision and endurance. And this is the part most people miss. This mission, dubbed USSF 106, was the very reason Vulcan was designed in the first place. It's the anchor case that drove the rocket's architecture, making it one of ULA's longest and most demanding missions ever. ULA's president and CEO, Tory Bruno, emphasized the significance of this launch during a recent roundtable. This is the inaugural launch of Vulcan into national security space. It is what we designed this rocket to do. But why is this mission so tough? It involves a 7 to 8 hour journey, including disposal activities, and requires the rocket to carry significant mass to a difficult orbit. Controversially, some might argue that starting with such a complex mission is risky, but ULA sees it as a testament to Vulcan's capabilities. Overcoming setbacks and looking ahead, ULA had hoped to launch USSF 106 earlier, but faced delays due to a solid rocket motor, SRM, anomaly during certification flights, readiness issues with Sierra Space's Dream Chaser, and payload delays. Despite these challenges, Bruno remains confident. ULA has a stockpile of both Atlas V and Vulcan rockets ready to fly, with 13 Atlas V rockets fully built and stored. But here's a thought-provoking question. With only 2 Atlas V rockets left to complete, is ULA's focus shifting entirely to Vulcan? And what does this mean for the future of Atlas V? ULA's ambitious goal is to achieve 2 launches per month by the end of the year, extending this cadence into 2026 and beyond. With nearly half a dozen Vulcans in storage and plenty of SRMs available, the company is well positioned to meet this target. However, some critics might wonder if this rapid pace is sustainable, especially with the growing competition in the launch market. NSSL contract and beyond. USSF 106 is just the first of 26 missions awarded to ULA under the $4.5 billion NSSL Phase 2 contract. Originally, USSF 51 was slated to be the first Vulcan launch, but it was reassigned to an Atlas V. Bruno hinted that there may be additional Atlas V launches for commercial customers like Amazon or Viasat before the next Space Force mission, USSF 87. This raises an interesting debate. With Vulcan taking center stage, how will ULA balance its commitments to both government and commercial clients? Future growth, promises and challenges. The next few years will be dominated by Vulcan launches, particularly for Amazon's Project Kuiper and Viasat satellites. Boeing's Starliner missions, however, will depend on NASA's confidence in the spacecraft and the International Space Station's remaining lifespan. Meanwhile, ULA is 76% complete with building Space Launch Complex 3, SLC-3, at Vandenberg Space Force Base, despite challenges like shortages of specialized tradespeople. But here's a counterpoint. Could these delays impact ULA's ability to meet its launch targets? At Cape Canaveral, ULA is nearing completion of its second vertical integration facility, VIFA, dedicated to commercial Vulcan launches. Bruno hopes to see Amazon's first Vulcan flights this year, though specific dates remain under wraps. And this is where it gets controversial. ULA isn't the only player expanding operations at the Cape. SpaceX's Starship program is seeking approval for up to 44 launches per year from Launch Complex 39A, with 88 landings and static fire tests. This unprecedented scale raises questions about range capacity and environmental impact. Starship is not just another rocket on the range, Bruno noted. It's much larger than a Saturn V, and its high launch rate requires a thorough analysis of its impact on both the ecological and launch environment. The FAA and Space Force are currently reviewing SpaceX's proposals, with public comment periods underway. Here's a question to ponder. Can the range handle both ULA's ambitious plans and SpaceX's massive operations without compromising safety or efficiency? Final thoughts. As ULA prepares to bring Vulcan into full service, the company is poised to redefine its role in the aerospace industry. But with growing competition and logistical challenges, the road ahead won't be easy. What's your take? Is ULA's focus on Vulcan the right move, or should they diversify further? And how will the range manage the influx of new, larger rockets? Share your thoughts in the comments. Let's spark a conversation about the future of space launch.